Welcome fellow adventurers, I am Fox, and in this video I will be covering ninja's lore wielder of short sword, shuriken, and sura katana. If you like this video, and would like to see more videos like this, do not forget to like and follow my channel. Ninjas use sword, martial arts, and ninjutsu. Their swarm of attacks consists of swift movement, smoke shells, and unique skills, such as hiding and pulling the enemy into the middle of total chaos. With proper control, a ninja can flip the battle by discreetly raiding important figures. After awakening, they can use the sura katana to attack their enemies before they even realize what hit them. There once was a poor boy who lived in the forest of a small fiefdom in a far eastern realm. A well-to-do girl occasionally came to the same forest for walks, and against all odds this ragtag little boy and this silk-wearing girl soon became best friends. They eventually grew up and developed romantic feelings for one another. But this wealthy girl could never marry a boy of such poor stock. The girl was the eldest daughter of the house of Narasawa, the ruling family of the fiefdom. Her future groom, the son of another lord, had already been arranged, and she was destined to take over as head of her house. The boy had no concern for any of this, however, and decided to leave the forest to learn the art of combat, so he could protect the girl one day. Whether fate, so cruel in denying the two lovers, was moved by the boy's devotion was unclear. What is known is that on his journey the boy experienced a great stroke of luck in his encounter with a retired army general known as Sura, who was famous for sweeping through battlefields wielding 6 swords at once. The boy trained under his guidance for years, and eventually returned to the girl's side as a powerful warrior. Soon after the girl was appointed as the head of her house, a civil war broke out in the kingdom, as several lords rose up to defy the oppressive and exploitative central government. In the midst of this turmoil, the boy did everything he could to protect the girl. The sight of this boy covered in the blood of his enemies as he mercilessly slashed away with his 6 swords, caused opponents to cower, convinced that the legendary Sura had returned to the battlefield. Stability returned to the kingdom after much bloodshed, and soon an era of great peace reigned. Everyone appeared happy on the outside, but the trials were only beginning for the boy and girl. A fierce war eventually erupted between the former revolutionaries, as each sought to establish themselves as the master of the realm. The Narasawa house and the girl, now young woman, were being watched by these ambitious power seekers. The young woman yielded the honor of her house and gave up as much wealth as she could simply to survive, but the harsh reality of the times would not leave her be. Word on the street was that she could soon be framed for treason. The boy, now a grown young man himself, felt the need to protect the young woman and the house of Narasawa from the new powers of the realm. However, there was not much a wandering swordsman and his gang of followers could do. He first needed to figure out how to make a living. The young man persuaded the young woman to change the family name of her house, and they moved back to the forest where they spent their childhood together. The young man and his gang started a little business for collecting and selling important pieces of information. The young woman took charge of classifying and managing this information, and eventually they were able to make a living. Of course, there was a period of trial and error. The espionage scene was different from the battlefield. The group eventually gave up the long swords that hindered their mobility for more agile short swords. They revised their martial arts style to make it suitable for infiltration and assassination operations. They hid their identities, patiently waited, and trained endlessly. They called themselves ninjas. The family was on its way back to stability, but tragedy struck from the most unexpected source. One of their colleagues who just returned from a mission to the west seemed to have caught a cold, but that illness turned his eyes red and made him go berserk. He soon began attacking everyone around him. The madman was taken care of, but the disease was already spreading, poisoning the bodies and minds of the entire house. Even the young were infected by the disease. One day the young woman, who had been taking care of the infected day and night, began to show symptoms. The young man had no problem slaying the others once they became infected, but he could never do the same for the young woman. He searched the entire kingdom to find a doctor who could help, but the best anyone could do was put her into a coma using acupuncture, so that she might one day be cured. It seemed the worst had passed for the time being, but the young man's trials were only beginning. The young man never lost hope, but he knew he needed to find the source of the terrible disease, if they were to ever find a cure. He decided to head to the west, which he determined to be the source of the disease, intending to eventually return to his homeland to rebuild the crippled house. The young man visited the young woman on the day he would set forth. The maids taking care of her left the room, so they could be alone for the first time since childhood. However, the young woman did not awaken. Before he left, the young man made a vow to the young woman. On the day when Sura returns, the Narasawa flag shall fly again on the field of battle. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more lore on different classes of Black Desert Online, do not forget to like and subscribe. Let's aim for 100 likes. Thanks and God bless you all.